Welcome to another how-to video. One I never really thought I was going to have to make, but according to some emails, I do need to make it. A question I often get asked is, do I need to know how to use chopsticks to come to Japan? Unless you want to be that idiot that has a necklace with a spoon and a fork hanging on it, yes, you need to know how to use chopsticks. Consider this your Chopstick 101. First chopstick lesson, if you come to Japan and go to a restaurant that does not speak any English at all and ask for chopsticks, they won't know what you're talking about. They are called hashi. Sometimes an honorable O is used at the beginning, so they say ohashi. If you want to ask for them, say ohashi kudasai or onagai shimasu. Chopsticks, not as many people know this word. It is English. Let's start our class by talking about how you hold the chopsticks. For this, I'm going to hold it up close and personal for you. There are actually multiple methods in different ways and different types of politeness in how you hold it. The way I'm going to teach you, the way I know how. Why? Because it works. Some people have a very, very polite way that they consider to be the highest level of etiquette in which to eat. I am just going to teach you how to be functional with chopsticks. Any comments you have about how I hold them, leave them below and see if I give a shit, because I don't. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold them here right for you. You can hear my voice, you can't see my face, that doesn't matter. The chopsticks are what is important. So, the one thing I teach people right away is hold the first chopstick like you would hold a pencil for writing. Okay? Usually using 2 fingers and a thumb. Now, everybody holds a pencil a little bit different, but this is the way I am teaching you. 1 thumb, 2 fingers. Holding it like this. If you're having problems getting your hand to stay like this, one thing I can suggest is taking something soft and tucking it underneath this part of your 2 fingers. Having them clench hard, and this will make these 2 fingers and the thumb clench even tighter on the top of your stick. Sometimes you can put a tissue under here or a napkin, and that'll go ahead and strengthen your grip on the chopstick. Next, you're going to take the second chopstick and insert it. Now, what I do is I'm using this finger here in between the 2 to go ahead and allow me to open and close. I'm balancing the top stick with only this finger and my thumb. The balance is on the actual tip of my thumb here. Now, this might at first feel very awkward, but over time, your hand will strengthen the same as if you were playing guitar. You will eventually get strong enough to not just be able to pick up heavier objects, but one day you will be able to cut things with your chopsticks. Now, I know you're wondering, what does that mean, Unrested? Cut things with chopsticks? It's not a fork and a knife. It's not, but I can show you how to make it like one almost. What I'd like to do first is start you off with a couple different textures and foods. The reason I put them inside of Tupperware containers is because those are clear. You can see the sticks fully enter, and you can see deeper down into the dish to see what I'm scooping out. I'm doing it merely for display. Let's take a look. First thing we're going to start off is with what I consider the easiest objects to pick up, and that is hard objects. If you take a look in here, what I've used for an example is carrots. These are uncooked carrots, very hard, very stiff, they won't bend, they're not like noodles, and I can easily pick them up with no problem. Now, with this type of food, you can use your tightest grip to pick them up. You might feel a little bit of weight against your stick, and it may shift if you're not holding it tight enough. One thing people have asked me before is if it's too heavy or too hard for me to hold, can I stab it? No. Bad manners. Do not stab your food. Okay, here's where things start getting hard. Tofu. Very soft, very malleable. Something that's in a lot of Japanese dishes. This was one of the hardest things for yours truly to learn how to pick up. This technique that I'm going to use to open and close my chopsticks around this substance is what I call less is more. Sometimes you don't want to put your full strength or full weight against the object in order to pick it up. Tofu and beans are a good example of this. Let me show you what I mean. Now, first of all, let me show you the cutting effect that I had talked about earlier. You cut first to get your piece. Now, I'm going to pick up this chunk right here. Look how soft I pick that up. Now, if I close tight, watch what happens. Right away, it's gone. I just scoop it up. I don't even really close the sticks at all. And then I bring it to my mouth. Just what you always wanted, a video of me eating. Great. Next up we have rice. For this instance I have used chicken rice so that it can use multiple textures within the rice at the same time. Now, one thing that I must note right away, and this is something you may not know having come from a Western country because I myself did not know, Japanese rice is probably very different from the rice that you've grown up with in your own Western country. I know in America we tend to get a lot of our rice from South America. In Japan it's either homegrown or it's from China. That type of rice is very small, it's a smaller grain, and it's sticky and it's softer. It's easier to grip, but sometimes just as easily it can fall out of your chopsticks. Now, one big mistake I see a lot of foreigners make, and I made this myself, is they think they have to keep the plate very far away and bring it to their mouth, tending to drop quite a bit of rice on the way, as you just saw me do. That was intentional, by the way. For rice, do not be afraid to take the bowl up to your mouth and scoop right into your mouth. You do not need to hold it far away. Even Japanese people will hold their rice bowl very close to their mouth in order to eat it, especially when they get very low on the rice because it becomes harder and harder to scoop up with the chopsticks. Okay, guess what? It's time to learn how to cut with chopsticks. This was a technique I didn't even know you could do until I came to Japan and Japanese friends showed me how and when to do this. When you have something that is tougher or harder to eat and you cannot just bite off bits of, you must first cut it up, slice it up, or put it into sections in order to eat it properly and not look like an animal at the fucking table. Go ahead and take a look at this. Chicken. Now, chicken is not something you would normally imagine trying to pick apart with chopsticks, but it can be done. I'll show you with this little part right here. You're gonna go ahead and grab the part that you want, clamp very tight, come together tight with the chopsticks, and voila! It's come off. No problem at all. You're literally taking the chopsticks and squeezing them together so tight, sometimes you might need to build up a little bit of strength in your hand first before learning to do this technique perfectly. But as you can see, it can be done. You can cut stuff with chopsticks. Chicken. Oh, it's so delicious. There you have it. Chopsticks. I'm going to just give you a little bit of information. The chopsticks that I used here today are your regular sized adult chopsticks. Different types of chopsticks that exist out are the following. These chopsticks right here are a set called Maihashi. Maihashi is a Japanese word meaning my customized ohashi, or my customized chopsticks. I've had these specially made for myself that I take with my bento when I eat lunch at work. If you want to take a look at what my design looks like, it's very simplistic, of course black because that's my favorite color. It's got a little bit of crystal in the handle there, little sparkly marble stuff with flowers and twists and stuff all around it. I had it custom made for me because it is Maihashi Beach. So if you watch this whole video and you're still struggling with chopsticks and you say, Scott, it's never going to happen, there is one solution for you. It's a little bit shameful, but there is a solution. Children's chopsticks. Let me show you a little bit closer here. If you were wondering in Japan how children learn to use chopsticks, this is how. They start out with these. They are connected chopsticks with two little loops, holes for the fingers, and then two little grips on the sides for the bottom fingers. If you are absolutely unable to learn how to hold chopsticks, Dad, yes, my dad can't use chopsticks, you might want to purchase some of these, but you do need some tiny fingers because these are made for kids. You could order them and somehow open the loops wider and then reseal them. Children's chopsticks. Last but not least, we've got these giant big ass chopsticks. What the hell are you gonna use chopsticks that big for? Maybe I got myself some really big ass food to eat, motherfucker. They are mostly only used for cooking. Cooking dishes in which the pot is very large, and in order to not burn your hand, you are reaching down low, and in order to stir everything in there, you need a giant size pair of chopsticks. These are mostly only for cooking. Rarely would you see someone eat with these, although Chinese chopsticks do tend to be larger, hence the nickname Chinese chopsticks, okay? Hope you like that. That is your little class today on using chopsticks. Good luck out there, all you ohashi studiers. I am Unrested, and this was How To for Chopsticks. If you like this video today, please share it! God, I can't say that enough! Send it to someone you like, love, or someone who's coming to Japan and doesn't know how to use goddamn chopsticks. Up some strength in your fingers. Cut, you bastard! Cut! Now fuck this thing. Fuck you. Fuck you, chicken. Fuck you, chicken. I bite your fucking head off, bitch.